Good morning and welcome to this video, Education for All, and we're going to present to you further mathematics, and we're going to be doing everything in further mathematics with a lot of exercises. So in this we're going to choose vectors, and for more content don't forget to subscribe and click the notification for more content when they are out. So let's begin. What's a vector? A vector is simply a physical quantity with both magnitude and direction, and simply this is going to be represented with a letter or with an arrow sign on it. So we're going to be doing a lot in this first part of the topic. We're going to be doing position vectors, direction of a vector, the magnitude, the unit vector, how to find the dot product of a vector, and how to find the cross product of a vector. So hang on tight and don't forget to subscribe. The position vector is simply what is it simply? It's simply the point from which the vector originates, and it's simply denoted with an OA, and this O simply means the origin. So if you're asked to find the vector AB, as we usually know, always say OB minus OA. This is how you're going to do it. Same as you can find for AC, which is simply going to be OC minus OA, and that's how it goes. Now the magnitude of each vector. The magnitude of a vector is simply the length of the line segment representing the vector, and this is simply done by what? The absolute sign and the vector OA, which is direction. And the formula for this is as simple as nothing. You simply square all the coordinates, the x, the y, and the z coordinates, and find the answer. Let's take an example. We have the point OP 2, negative 2, 1. We have the point OA 4, negative 4, 2. And now let's see the answers. So the vector OP is going to have magnitude square root of 9, and which is simply going to be 3 units. So I'm expecting you guys to do OA and drop your answers in the comment section below. Let's move now to unit vector. A unit vector is simply that which has magnitude of 1. Example, we have the vector I, j, and k, and this is represented with a cap. You see this cap on it. You're going to be seeing a vector with some sort of cap on it, some sort of cap. Yeah, that's also unit vectors. Imagine a vector I, j, and k, I plus j plus k. When you find the magnitude, we have 1. Good. So now let's begin with the dot product of a vector. The dot product of a vector is simply you multiplying all the similar components, that is multiplying all the i's together and adding with the j's and adding with the k's, simply represented as such. So we're going to take a quick example to see how it is done. Imagine you're given 2 points A, I, which is going to be 2j plus 3k, and B, 4i minus 3j plus k. What we're going to do is that, as I said, we're going to multiply all the I components and multiply the j components and add to the I components and add the multiplication of the k components and add together, which is shown as such. And we see that the dot product here is 1. Now let's now get into the angle between the vectors. What's the angle between the vector? It's simply you take the dot product, it's going to be equals to what? The cos of the angle. That means you take cos theta, the magnitude of those vectors, and now we make theta the subject of this equation. Is that which is simply going to be cos inverse of a dot b and divided by the magnitude of the two vectors. Let's take an example so we'll see how to apply this. So we have the angle between A. We to find the angle between A and B. So firstly we find the dot product, which is simply going to be, we multiply the I component, the j component, and the k component, and we're going to have the answer 5. We'll keep that aside. Now we find the magnitude of A and B. The magnitude of A is as shown. As said, we square all the components and we're going to have root 6. Now here we find the magnitude of B. which is still going to be root 6. Sorry for this, this is B, not A. This is B and not A. Now we find the cos, which is going to apply our formula, and now to find theta, which is simply going to be cos inverse of AB dot all over their magnitude, and we have the answer. Cos inverse of 5 here, this sign is going to cancel out, which are going to be left with cos inverse of 5 on 6, which is going to give us the answer 33.5 degrees. So that is how you proceed. Follow the steps and you're going to see how it is very easy. Now we're going to move into the next part, determining the cross product. It is actually denoted as such: A cross B. Here's the cross product. A cross B, you can see it like this, or here with some sort of and sign. Here's simply the cross product of A and B. So actually, to find the cross product of A and B, we're simply going to use this expression. We have the vectors AI. Here are the I components of the two vectors. Here are the J components of the two vectors, and here are the J components of the two vectors. Sorry, the K component of the vector. So now what we're going to do to find this is that we're going to cross the I component as such and copy these vectors which are left here. After that, we'll cross the J component similarly and copy this vector, this and this, and still to find the K, cross the K section and we'll still cross it as such, and we're left with A, B, D and E, which is seen here. Now we're going to see an example. Now we're given two vectors A and B to find your dot product. So simply we're going to do same as I said. It was an error. We're going to simply replace it with a K here, and here we have. So if we cross this I component, we cross the two, we're going to be left with the first is going to be 10, 7, negative 7 and 9, which is seen here. And if we cross the J component, we're going to be left with 3, 7, 2 and 9. Same as if we cross the K component, crossing here 2, don't forget to cross here 2, and we're going to be left with 3, 10, 2 and negative 7. So we simplify the determinants, and that is actually multiplying 10, 9 minus negative 7 times 7, which is going to give the answer. Same as here, and don't forget the signs of this ij. You see here J is negative, so don't forget this negative. You do same for here. We're going to 3 times 9, that's 27, minus, it's a minus sign here. That means you start from here, you take a minus this side, which is going to be 3 times 9 minus this. We're going to have the answer same as we do here. We still go here, proceed, and then we'll subtract it by here. So we're going to have the answer 135i minus 13j minus 41k, and that is it. So hang on for the next part of the video, because we're going to start more and more interesting things. And thanks for watching this. Don't forget to subscribe.